Everybody, welcome back to my page. Abdullah here. Today we're going to discuss a stock that many of us might have remembered when we were younger. They first had cell phones. It was one of those brick-shaped cell phones. If you know, you know. We'll be talking about Nokia Corporation. We'll be going through the following items: 1, strategy for the company; 2, financials; and then 3, why I invested in the company. If you aren't subscribed to my page, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, crush the like button so as many people as possible see these videos, and leave a comment with your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree, or anything that might be coming at the top of your mind. Additionally, please sign up for my Patreon. It's in the description below with the link. You'll get insight into my watch list, my portfolio, live updates on stocks that I'm researching on a daily basis based on my readings, and then instant posts on my stock buys and sells as they're happening each day. So moving on to Nokia. Nokia is a Finnish company that is known to have sold cell phones in the past to consumers. They do still sell cell phones, but it makes a small portion of their business currently. The company currently focuses on telecom equipment, and they're currently the second largest company in the world behind Huawei. They currently have 16% market share. Huawei has 28% market share, and then Ericsson comes in third at 14%. The company is making a strong push on 5G with Europe and US boycotting Huawei, it leaves the door open for Nokia to gain market share. Huawei has a stronghold in South Asia, including China. However, recently, South Asian countries have decided to steer away from Huawei, such as Singapore, which recently signed with Nokia. Nokia has set itself well in the 5G marketplace, and given the landscape currently, they can potentially take additional market share from Huawei as well as Ericsson. So pulling up the company's financials, here I just pulled it up on Yahoo. It's easiest to do this. Sometimes going through the 10K and just going through the documentation is a little bit tough, and so sometimes people just don't have time to pull up 10K or 10Qs. So here, just click on the financials tab here on Yahoo after looking up the ticker, which is NOK. It gives a summary of the annual financials as well as the quarterly financials. I try to look at both, looking at how they did in the prior year as well as seeing the last 3 quarters, how they're doing. We can see that from a revenue perspective, they've been pretty consistent, 23 to 22 billion in revenue. Obviously, they're a Finnish company, so their currency is in euros. So these are all numbers are documented in euros, and they're in thousands. So we're seeing 23 million, but in reality, it's 23 billion. Same with cost of revenue. It's been consistent. The company has recently pushed towards reducing their expenses, and as a result, they've achieved net income in 2019. And then when we go to their quarterly financials, we can see that they started off first quarter with a negative net income, and then now they're slowly moving towards positive net income, which is a good sign for the company. Additionally, looking through their balance sheet, the company has a healthy balance sheet. The current ratio is greater than 1, meaning they can meet their short-term obligations. The company does have 5 billion in debt. However, when we go to the cash flow and see how much cash they're generating from operations, the 5 billion in debt doesn't scare too much, or it doesn't seem too significant. The company is at a 26 billion market share currently, so having about 20% in debt isn't too dramatic or too drastic, and especially because they're a equipment company. They're capital intensive, so they need to be able to have the capital expenditures in order to support the business. With regards to cash flow, the company's generated positive cash flows the last few years. And then when we go to their quarterly statements, we can see, again, the last 3 quarters, they've generated positive cash flow. If you add up the last 3 quarters, they've almost generated $1 billion or 1 billion euros in cash flow from operations. And if we look at the last 4 quarters, they've generated 2.4 billion. So that's why the 5 billion of debt doesn't seem too excessive, because of the amount of cash flow they're generating. The financials overall seem pretty healthy for the company, even though they seem like they might be on the decline. They do have a significant portion of this specific niche industry, which is the 5G industry and the telecom equipment industry. So they have put themselves in a great position, both financially and from a strategic perspective, in order to be able to potentially gain even further market share within 5G. Two reasons why I invested in Nokia. First, what we talked about from a strategy perspective, they have a play with 5G, and with only three major players in the market, they have a lot of opportunity to be able to gain market share. In addition, just the overall sentiment towards Huawei has begun to sour with many countries, especially on the from Europe and the United States, so they can continue to gain market share in that space, in telecom equipment space. And recently they won Singapore, which also moved away from Huawei and moved towards Nokia and signed with Nokia in order to do their 5G rollout. Secondly, the company's shares are currently trading at about a $4 price per share, a little bit on the high end of $4 currently. The lowest it's reached over the last 6 months is $3.37. So the company has a pretty good support level that it can continue to grow. The stock can continue to grow, and then if it were to decrease, can average down and buy additional shares in order to be able to then catch a potential upswing in the stock. And recently we saw with the Wall Street Bets momentum that the stock actually reached at a high of $9.79 within the past 2 weeks. So the stock can gain momentum, and I think that the stock could be potentially worth somewhere around the $50 billion range, so it could potentially double. So this is two of the reasons why I bought Nokia and put it in my portfolio, to be able to get some exposure to the overall 5G rollout that's happening in many countries around the world. As always, do your own due diligence before investing, and let me know your thoughts. Make money, enjoy life. Peace.